Welcome back to Recreational Runner. This is Running Talk, episode 4, I think I'm on now. And today I'm joined by the lovely Suzy, who I will introduce, or she will introduce in a second. We're just going to roll the credits, but this video is going to be all about Suzy, who is an amazing triathlete, kayaker, runner, personal trainer, coach, masseuse, previous nurse as well. This lady's got a lot to talk about. You need to stay tuned, you need to watch this because you're going to learn a lot. So roll the intro. Okay, so welcome back, Suzy. We've actually just recorded another video, which I'll link in the description and in the card, about strength training for runners. Suzy is an expert, she's helped me with that. So that's why we're in our sports kit and we're in front of this green screen, and I'm going to have stuff going on here to help you learn more about Suzy as well and her business. But Suzy, I'm talking way too much. Introduce yourself, and you can take as long as you want to introduce yourself. I want you to cover as much as possible.
Okay, I'm Suzy, and up till 5 years ago I worked as a registered nurse, and I just didn't really feel like I could do a really good job. There was so much pressure on time, and I looked to retrain, and I retrained as a sports massage therapist because I did a lot of sport and I got injured, and it was just an area that I was interested in. And then after a few years, people asked me to write them plans and things like that, so I started helping people with running plans, and then it became really obvious to me that people were getting injured because they weren't strong enough, so I've done my PT training and doing my strength and conditioning at the moment.
Amazing, so you've been on a real kind of educational journey there, haven't you, from your foundation as a nurse, helping people. The thing you're going to see with Suzy is she loves to help people, she's a caring person. She's super modest, so I have to big her up as much as possible. How long have you been running though?
I started running when I was about 30, and I'm 44, so about 14 years.
Yeah, and have you always been a member of Felons Valley Spartans?
I was a member of a few other clubs before I finally found my running home, which is Spartans.
Oh, lovely, love running, and that's how we met, so yeah. That's good, that's why we're here today. You didn't mention your massage business, or did you there?
I did mention that I trained as a massage therapist, sports massage therapy, yeah.
Because I've had a few sports massages from Suzy, highly recommended. We will put on the screen here Suzy's business logos and things anyway. And in the description I'll give links to Suzy's businesses too. So talk to me about triathlon, because when did you get into that?
I pretty much started running a triathlon all at once. So I'd been travelling, I was overweight, the same reason that a lot of people get into running. So I just did what any new runner does and just went out and ran until I was injured. And then a friend was emigrating to Australia and she said, do you want this bike? Because it's going to go to the dump. And I hadn't actually ridden a bike since I was about 8 years old.
Really?
I learned to ride a bike when I was 8, fell off, hated it, didn't ride again until I was 30. So I was like, well, yeah, I've hurt my knee, I can't run, so yeah, I'll take a bike. And then I rode to my then running club, Harlow Running Club, on this bike once my knee was better than I could. And then someone just said, if you ride a bike and you run, you should do a triathlon. We're doing London. And I was like, that's a great challenge, actually. My nan was poorly, she had Alzheimer's. I thought, this is a really good opportunity for me to raise some money.
Oh, awesome.
And yeah, I just...
But were you swimming at all then? How did you find the swimming?
I had swum a bit as a kid, so I did join a swimming club when I was like 11. It wasn't my thing, didn't really like it, but fortunately I was there long enough to pick up some basics so I could swim. I'm still not a great swimmer, and I don't love swimming, to be honest.
And that's always first in a triathlon, isn't it?
That's always first,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm no expert on triathlons, but obviously we did the Ironman World Record with Simon Jackson, who you train with and run with and everything. But you are equally as amazing, Suzy. We call her Super Suzy in the running club for some of the things you've done. You're going to be modest, I need to get this out of you. What's your biggest achievement in triathlon stroke Ironman, which is the brand, I guess?
So I last year was very, very determined to qualify for the World Half Ironman Championships, and the first qualifying race didn't go to plan. I think I feel really proud of the fact that I didn't give up and I gave it another go, and I got to meet my goal, which was to compete there. I've medalled a couple of times. I think maybe Bolton, I had a race that came together really well. I hope to qualify for the World Ironman Championships, but I finished third, and the woman who beat me by 20 seconds.
Oh.
So when you're racing over 11 hours or so, 20 seconds is not a lot.
So just tell my viewers what distances you're doing. You swim first, how far are you swimming?
So in a full Ironman, it's 2.5 miles.
And is this open water swimming as well?
Yeah.
So you've got currents to deal with, temperatures to deal with, lots of people's elbows to deal with.
It's the people that bother me more than anything.
Quite claustrophobic, I guess.
It can be. I think for the good swimmers that get off and get some clear water, it's all right. But yeah, for the average swimmers like me that are stuck in the masses, it's not a pleasant experience for me. But some people handle it.
And you've got that for 2.5 miles, and then you transition onto the bike.
Yes.
And how far are you riding the
That's
bike?
112 miles.
112 miles, ladies and gents. And that's definitely going to be taken in lots of hills, I'm guessing as well. They don't pick a flat course, do they?
So I've competed twice in Germany, and I'd say they're rolling. When I competed in Great Britain in Bolton, that was ridiculously hilly.
And do they give it equal down, or is it just it's random?
You do get, otherwise you'd end up on the moon, wouldn't you? Just keep going up. But you never get back the speed and the effort from the downhills.
Yeah, no, you put a lot of energy getting.
I never fully relax on the downhills. I'm quite a nervous cyclist, so a lot of people do just kind of slow down, whereas I'm a bit intense.
So you've swum 2.5 miles, you've now ridden 112 miles, and now you've got to run what?
A marathon.
A marathon, I said it because I knew it was a marathon, I remember that bit. And that takes you, 11 hours roughly?
Yes, yeah.
And you finished third, and how modest has she been? Like, you finished third, you've qualified for nationals, you've qualified for World Championships, you've represented Great Britain. How many times have you represented Great Britain?
In triathlon, just once. That was the European Long Course Championships. I won a silver medal there. That was a nice event.
Great Britain, long haul, Ironman silver medal winner, ladies and gents. That's amazing. Well done, Suzy. I remember when you did that and the training you put in. It's the training, isn't it? That's the real.
The races are always a nice day. Even Ironman, you think you're daunted by the numbers, but actually it's not. The day itself is a nice day because you're ready for it.
Yeah.
It's the training that's relentless.
How long roughly do you train for that kind of event?
You build up to about 20 hours over the week. You might have 1 or 2 weeks of 20 hours.
Wow. But how many weeks as well of training before? You train all the time, right?
Yeah.
You don't really ever have a downtime.
So you'd have a program that would build maybe over 6 months.
6 months.
With a fairly good base, I'd say. But people do it on less.
Yeah. It's just amazing. I'm in awe. I struggle to do 20 miles at the minute. Well, I don't struggle, but I get 20 miles running in, but you're doing all of the cycling, all of the swimming, all of the running as well. It's amazing. Feat of effort to do it. But you once said to me that anybody can do these things, right? The human body, it doesn't matter what condition you're in right now, you could do this. If you
I
wanted
truly
to.
believe that, yeah. The human body just responds to whatever stimulus you give it. So yeah, if you want to be an athlete that can go for longer or an athlete that can go faster, it is just a process. It's a process, there are steps you take, but everybody has their own agenda, don't they? It's how much do you want it, how much time are you willing to give it, how much are you willing to sacrifice.
Yeah.
And for me, when I'm training for Ironman, I'll sacrifice a lot. And at the moment, I'm just running and I'm just training 5-6 hours a week. So I'm just having a step back and a bit of a relax.
That's a relax for you, but that's an effort for me, 5 or 6 hours a week. Hey, cool. So you mentioned you've represented GB once at Triathlon, but you've represented GB in other disciplines as well.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
So I went to the World Sprint Duathlon Championships a couple of years ago with a good friend, and that was an awesome experience.
Oh, was that Michelle that did
Yes,
that as well?
yes.
And duathlon is that ride and run?
Yeah, run, bike, run.
Run, bike, run.
I think duathlon is harder than triathlon, even though I'm not a great swimmer.
Really?
Yeah.
What are the distances?
So sprint, I think, was 5k run, 12k bike and then another 2.5k run, but it was a while ago, and I mostly do long stuff, so I might not be right.
But you had the GB jersey for that.
Yeah.
Amazing experience.
Yeah, it was really good fun being there and doing it with my best friend.
Brilliant, brilliant. Anything else? You mentioned kayaking to me.
So yeah, my background was kayaking.
Oh, okay. I didn't realise that.
No, not a lot of people do. So I started paddling a kayak when I was about 8, and my dad paddled the kayak, so it was like, well, we're going to have to go to the club, so you might as well do it. And I managed to make it to the Great Britain sprint development team by the time I was about 16, but I'm not a sprinter. And there was no, for the juniors, there was no other team. It was the sprint team or nothing.
Right, okay.
And so I was in, once I was 18, I was recruited into the long distance team and represented Great Britain a couple of times, had a couple of international races, won the international medal with my then K2 partner, two-man boat. So yeah, that was a million years ago now, though. So I stopped paddling when I was 24.
But what an amazing thing for your children as well to know that their mum's done all of these.
They're not impressed.
They're not now, but they will be, trust me, when they're a bit older. Are you impressed, Evie? My daughter's in the background, by the way. You're impressed by that, aren't you? Yeah, she is, and your kids will be as well, for sure. But that's a wealth of experience just from all the racing you've done, and you've done so much more racing outside. We're talking about the GB stuff because I think that's amazing. You've done loads. How many marathons have you done? And half marathons.
So I've only done 3 marathons, obviously 3 Ironman, which finishes with a marathon.
Okay.
I was hoping to run a marathon this year, but
because you were in London, weren't you, for championship place?
Championship place.
I'm just in awe when you tell me these things. So what's happening with that?
So we were all ready to race in March, and I understand completely. You can't put on an event when you've got a worldwide pandemic. I was really fit in March. We're really ready to race. I sulked.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a proper sulk. And then decided, when London kept saying, no, we're going ahead, I eventually thought, well, I better get fit. I don't want this to be a miserable experience. So got training again, got fit again, and it's been cancelled again. So next year, next October,
okay.
I'll be nearly 46.
You'll still smash it, definitely. But
yeah, we'll give it a go.
It's a long time, isn't it, to wait though? But yeah, we were talking about it off camera. The amount of organisation that goes into any race, the amount of volunteers, if anybody gets any symptoms whatsoever, they've got to go into isolation. You're going to lose people on any big scale event. They're definitely going to lose lots and lots of people, aren't they? So it's tough. It's a tough ask, isn't it?
I understand it completely, and if it's not safe to do. I myself organised a little handicap half marathon today for myself and about 9 other runners, all setting off at different times. I lost 1 runner and 1 helper. I only had 2 helpers. I had someone helping with start, someone doing a wood station. And yeah, they couldn't come because they were having to have a test, and that's how it is at the moment, isn't it? You just have to kind of go with the flow.
So when you said you texted me and said I'm running a half marathon, I thought you meant you were physically running one, but you put the event on.
Yeah, it was only
did you run it as well?
Yes.
And how did you get on? How fast did you run a half marathon today?
I was a lot slower than I have been in the past.
Yeah, tell me what it was.
I did a 1:32.
Get off the couch. So good.
With a mile to go, I thought my last half marathon I'd actually finished by now. But yeah.
But
it's just a measure of where you are at the time.
Yeah, and it's all relevant to you as an individual. There'll be people watching the channel. I'm doing Maffetone, Dr. Phil Maffetone's method of math running at the minute. We've talked about that before as well. And there's people I know in my group that they're just happy to run for half an hour, and that's a goal. And if you've never done that before, it's absolutely fantastic to not have to walk for the first time. It's all relevant. We're talking to an amazing athlete here today, but everybody's got goals and aspirations, and you're all amazing.
I think in a time where physical health is so important, just getting your running shoes on and having that target of running for a half an hour is just ridiculously important.
Yeah, absolutely. Mental health is huge. When I didn't run, I worked out it was 3 weeks a couple of weeks ago. I had 3 weeks off. For no reason, didn't know why. It wasn't a physical thing. I wasn't tired or anything. Then I realised I was probably a little bit depressed, and I didn't realise. And then you get into a rut, you get into the daily routine with children at home and having to work from home at the minute. until I got out running again, I started to feel better and I started to sleep better as well. It's all connected, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And you're a great, you do a lot of reading about all of that as well, don't you?
Yeah, yeah.
Did I see a pile of books?
A big pile of books there on,
Suzy does a lot of reading.
on running strength. But yeah, I just feel like the more I've learned about running and coaching and strength and conditioning, the more I've realised there is so much more to know.
Yeah, there always is.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever stop, and I don't think I'll ever feel like, yeah, I know enough now.
Yeah, well it's good for me to know someone like you because you are dedicated to your reading, so if ever I'm stuck I can call Suzy or text Suzy.
I like, so you like to use the methadone
at the moment, yeah.
I like to read about this stuff and then read the complete opposite and work out, well, actually, and because I coach, well, this might work for James, but this something other than method might work for somebody else.
You did that athlete-centric, individual, assess that person, where they are, what they're trying to do.
Yeah, actually lockdown's been a really good time for that.
Yeah.
You can really play with people and practice and work out, oh, actually, you're a power athlete, you respond really well to these short intervals with loads of rest, or you respond really well to the long, slow stuff.
Yeah, and that's what coaching's all about. We had Andy Pryor, PT, on the channel a few weeks back, and he talked about that as well. But it's finding what works for you. You might be a sprinter, as you just said, you might be a long distance runner, and you will tailor a plan for someone based on what their strengths are, which is that's why you pay a coach instead of just downloading a generic plan off the internet that's one size fits all.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them, and if you follow them, generally they'll work. Yeah, they're good. But just going out and running is good. But yeah, if you want to,
if you've got a specific goal, you want to get faster or further.
Yeah, I want to be able to manage, like, so I'm someone who would maybe do too much and too fast.
Yeah.
Or someone who might get stuck in a rut just running at the same pace. Yeah, it helps just to mix it up, to have a plan of some kind.
So talk to me about your coaching. What qualifications have you done?
So I'm an event group coach, and I've gone through the England Athletics. I started doing the run leading with Fairlands, and I really enjoy that. It's really nice. But to me, it's not really coaching. So the coach will write the plan, and then we just blow the whistle.
Yeah. Make sure everyone's safe and take them through the thing. Yeah.
So I trained as an athletics coach, mostly because I just think physical movement is so important, and it's never more important than when we're kids. So I'm licensed to coach kids from 8, although I'm licensed to coach them throwing and jumping as well as running. Yeah. And then during lockdown, I was really lucky that I just had this time as I wasn't working, and I managed to do the event group qualification, which was a bit of a slog, but it was a really, really good course. And away from England Athletics, I've done the Lydiard course, which I think would really interest you.
Really?
Yeah, because Lydiard talk a lot about doing sort of aerobic running. Yeah.
How long was that?
How long was that? That was over a weekend.
Yeah.
It was run by Lorraine Waller, she was a Boston winner. And she was an international athlete who'd gone through the Lydiard programs. So she was racing international as a teenager and up till she was 41, and then started coaching and coached people like for run a 5-hour marathon or elite athletes. So what she didn't know about coaching and running was worth knowing. She was really good.
Amazing.
Did you know about the Lydiard?
No, nothing.
So Arthur Lydiard was he was a Kiwi guy that was just interested in running, not a qualified coach at all, nothing to do really with New Zealand athletics officially, but yeah, he worked out various systems that work. He trained a few guys local to him in the 1960 Rome Olympics.
Okay.
New Zealand took a team of about 500 athletes, 3 of which were Lydiard's athletes. New Zealand came back with 3 medals, and they were just these guys.
Oh my God.
And he wasn't even allowed in the team because he wasn't an official coach.
Blimey.
So, and then because of that, so he has a bit of a protege. if you heard of Jack Daniels?
Yeah,
Coach.
yeah.
So pretty much all of the modern methods, all of the modern books that you will read are all based around Lydiard's methods. Lydiard had a guy running for him in Snow. He was a really renowned 800-metre runner, absolutely phenomenal. So when he actually finished his athletic career, he did a PhD in physiology and went back to Arthur Lydiard and said, "This is how your methods work."
Oh wow!
And they do work. They're really good.
Proven in science.
Yeah, so more periodised. So it's really starting off with the sort of stuff that you're doing, that low intensity, doing lots and lots of that, and then coming up to a peak when you want to, and then bringing it back down again because you don't want to stay up there because you just get injured,
Fatigue,
burnt out.
injury, all that stuff that I've done loads of times. So you've researched, you've done other things outside of the curriculum that UK Athletics do. This is why Suzy's amazing, because as she says, she tests things and reads the opposite opinion, which is amazing. Is there anything else like amazing that you've learned from all of that? So I'll put you on the spot. That's an on-the-spot question there.
That's a really difficult question. But the whole course was really amazing.
Yeah.
And some people who have heard about Lydiard would say, "Oh, it's all about running 100 miles a week," which is actually rubbish. But he did get I think he got even his 800-metre runner and his marathon runners.
So run 100 miles a week.
100 miles a week, but yeah, that was their job. So.
Yeah. If you've got a full-time job and an 18-month-old at home, I'm not going to be doing that anytime soon.
I wouldn't recommend it.
So you coach people for a business. What's the name of your company?
I'm Evolve Run Coach.
It's going to magically appear behind me, hopefully. If it doesn't, then there's something gone wrong. But it should appear there, Evolve, and we'll put the link in the description. How's that going? Pre-lockdown or post-lockdown? Sorry.
So I picked up a lot of athletes during lockdown. I lost a lot initially because everyone was training for events and the events were cancelled, and then the clubs shut, and then people were a lot of the time running on their own because they had to, and a lot of people did approach me because they wanted something just to keep them ticking over. They wanted to be accountable to someone, and I will check on you and see if you've done your runs. And I'm a reasonable woman, but if you haven't, why haven't you? But I'll check in with people every week to see. I can look at I use a v.app, which means that I can see their run.
Okay, so it's all web-based at the minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will message them every week and ask them how they feel. Or they can contact me at any time to ask me questions and things. But every week I will ask them how they feel, which is really important, as well as the numbers are saying that you're going well.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me you feel terrible, then we need to adjust the
scale something in a different way. Okay, so that's going well. You picked up people.
Yeah.
So before lockdown, were you physically training people one-on-one as well, or is it mainly an online?
Yeah, I do both. And so to me, coaching really is sort of standing with a clipboard at the side of the track or that's coaching, and checking how people move as well. But the online stuff works if that's what you need. So I kind of see myself and my business kind of as the golden thread that runs through the training. Okay. So I can offer the strength, the run technique, the training plans, and then recovery with massage as well. Yeah. And people pick either what they need. I've got a few athletes that take the whole package, and I look after them completely.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice work.
You were also doing workshops before pandemic as well. Have you done any of that virtually, like foam rolling workshops, those kind of things?
I did do foam rolling workshop virtually, mostly because my massage clients were getting very sore and grumpy, and so I really taught them how to use their foam rollers to the best that they can do.
Have you videoed any of those? Is that something
I have got a video of that.
Well, you'll have to give me the link and we'll put that in the description as well. Because that's amazing. I've got a foam roller that's got more dust on it than I've used it.
Oh, I need
so I need to get that back out, definitely. What's next for you then? So business is going well. Obviously, get in contact with Suzy. She'll help you out.
So I have got a bit of a rebrand planned.
Have you?
Yes, I have, but that's a little bit quiet at the moment. Maybe like a membership kind of option. Yeah. Like I say, with all of the services kind of running through. I don't have any aspirations to be world famous, renowned millionaire coach, but I certainly want to provide the best possible service to my athletes.
I know that, you can tell that. You care about people, I said that right at the beginning, and that's important. You want them to get the best possible.
So yeah, with my handicap half marathon today, I struggled around 7 minutes slower than my PB, but one of my athletes took 4 minutes off her.
Amazing.
Yeah, and when she ran past me, I felt ridiculously proud to play a part in her journey and getting her to where she can be, and that's how I feel about all of them. They're my own children.
Absolutely brilliant. Massage, I wanted to talk about that as well. So that's one of your services. Mm-hmm. You're open for business?
Yes, I've been back just, is it a month now?
Yeah.
It's a bit different, but it's good to be back.
What have you had to do post-lockdown? Is it gloves and clean everything all the time?
Unfortunately, I can't work in gloves, but other than that, I'm probably in more PPE than you'd find on a COVID ward in a hospital.
Really?
So yeah, apron, visor, mask. The only thing I'm told I have to wear is the visor or the face shield. But the more I can protect my clients, it obviously protecting myself protects my clients, but yeah, the more I can protect my clients, the more I will. So there's a bigger space in between clients. There's no waiting room, so people just come on their appointment time. The studio's given a thorough clean in between clients. So yeah, things are a little different, but it's just good to be able to safely provide the service.
Brilliant. Brilliant. So we've covered massage, we've covered your coaching, we've recorded today some strength training video advice for my channel, but obviously you offer that as a service through your business and PT. Yeah. Tell me a little bit more about that, please.
So I look after a lot of athletes in terms of their strength and conditioning. I've currently been running on Zoom in parks, and now just back in the unit on a one-to-one basis. Strength training is so important, as we talked about earlier. It's so important for everyone, but in particular runners, in terms of injury prevention and performance as well. Mm-hmm. And as a woman and as a middle-aged woman, it's really, really important for my group of people.
You were talking about women after a certain age, they start to lose a lot of natural muscle mass.
Yeah, we start at a bit of a disadvantage, and we're a lot less muscle naturally than men. But from age 30, which to me still seems fairly young, you start losing about 3% of muscle mass over a decade.
Wow.
Obviously, there's things you can do, like lift the big weights up, that slows that down, but it can equate to something like 30% of your overall strength, so it's absolutely vital.
What about competing-wise? You obviously had London Marathon.
Yeah.
Was that your core focus as it probably should have been?
100%, that was my A goal. I had nothing else in the diary after that.
And is that going to continue into next year, or are you going to, now you've got a bit more time, are you going to do anything else?
It's really difficult at the moment, isn't it? Yeah. So I've entered some other events, whether they go ahead, I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to get myself into the state that I was in during lockdown, where I did get quite unfit, and I don't really like myself all that much, where I'm just sitting on the sofa eating chocolate. I much prefer myself to keep moving and keep pushing.
I like myself when I'm doing that. I think it's amazing, but the next day I don't like myself.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you saying you're not fit was, you were probably 10 times fitter than me when you're not fit, but it's another story.
But yeah, I kind of hope to. I'm 44 and I'm still setting PB, so I kind of hope that I can continue for another couple of years to keep PB.
Perfect. That gives me a bit of hope as well. I'm going to get another PB at some point.
Of course you can.
I'll try.
I'm going to help with PB for sure, 100%.
Definitely. Oh, thank you. Suzy has got all of the services that can help you out. So you don't even need to be local to Stevenage, do you? Because you can do it online through the system you talked about.
That's it. Yeah, I've been coaching people on Zoom.
Brilliant.
And via an app.
Cool. So if you want that extra little bit of accountability, or you want some more advice, you're in a bit of a rut, whatever the case may be, Suzy is your lady to come to. GB athlete, amazing athlete, lovely person, super experienced, reads, researches, looks at things from all different angles. I think we've covered it all in this interview. Anything else you want to say to people, Suzy, as a closing statement? You don't have to. I'd put you on the spot with that.
No, just do your strength training and enjoy your running. And
Brilliant. Thank you. We'll put all the links in the description for Suzy's businesses, etc. Thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for helping me with my strength training video today as well. Hopefully that will help people out. So it's been great. Thank you very much. And what do we say? We say happy running. What do we say, Suzy?
happy running.
Happy running.